Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning to those of you who are joining from Europe. Welcome to our third and last webinar of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Postdoctoral Fellowship Call 2021 with hosting offers from Europe. My name is Samrat Kumar. I am the country coordinator for ERCC India. And we are very happy that we are organizing this webinar series with our dear colleagues from the EU delegation in India and with the kind support of the embassies of the Czech Republic, France, Portugal, and Spain here in India. So thank you for joining us today in such large numbers. And you're not only joining us from India, but you're also joining us, as we can see, from other parts of the world, from South Asia and Europe as well. That makes us even more excited today. Let me tell you that the Postdoctoral Fellowship is one of the best funded programs in the world. It is enabling researcher scientists to conduct their postdoctoral research in Europe at any European host institution. The goal of the MSc Postdoctoral Fellowship is to enhance the creative and innovative potential of researchers who are holding PhD and who wish to acquire new skills through advanced training, international, interdisciplinary, and intersectoral. The postdoctoral fellowship are open to excellent researchers of any nationality aspect of the industry and do your postdoc there. And to do that through this funding scheme. So now today we will give you a concrete overview about the 2021 call, and you will learn about hosting offers from the Czech Republic, from France, from Portugal, and from Spain. Now, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome our dear colleagues and speakers. And let me start with welcoming my dear colleague from the EU delegation in Delhi, Dr. Vivek Dham. He is the advisor at the Research Innovation section. Vivek, welcome. Thank you for joining again, and we're looking forward to your presentation. Another warm welcome, of course, to our presenters from Europe. And I start with the Czech Republic here, Ms. Zuzana Čapková. Welcome. She works at the National Information Center for European Research of the Technology Center of the Czech Academy of Sciences. She is a national contact point for the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions and the European Research Council grants in the Czech Republic. Next, we would like to welcome our colleagues from France. Ms. Eugenia Shadlova. I hope she is here with us. I'll just have to see. Yeah, she's here with us.
She's there.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, Eugenia. Thank you for joining us. She's from the French Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, and she's the French national contact point for the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions. Now, a very dear colleague of mine is also here with us, Dr. Srini Kaveri, and I think there's no need for introduction. All India knows Dr. Srini Kaveri. He's the director of the CNRS New Delhi Bureau at the French Embassy. Srini, warm welcome. Happy to have you with us. And also I would like to give a warm welcome to our colleagues from Portugal, starting with Dr. Rui Munha. He's the science officer at the Department of International Relations of the Portuguese Foundation for Science and Technology. Professor Rui, I just have to spot you. I hope you are here with us. Okay, seems he's not here, but still, we welcome him already now, and we will welcome him again once he has joined. And his colleague, Mr. David Marsal, is here with us. I can see he's a science manager and a communicator at also at the Foundation for Science and Technology, Portugal. David, warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
And last but not least, very warm welcome to our colleagues from Spain. I would like to start with Xavier Ecout. I just want to see, Xavier, you're here with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Here. Yeah, great to see you again.
And apologies for the mask. I'll change later for the presentation. I'll go to a room, but right now I'm in the office, so I need to wear the mask. Thank you very much for the invitation.
We fully understand, Xavier. Thank you. Xavier is the Marie Skłodowska-Curie National Contact Point in Spain, one of the national contact points, and he's the national coordinator of ERCC Spain, which makes him a colleague of mine. Next, I would like to welcome Ms. Letizia Riazzo Cambero. She's an officer at the European Project Office at the Complutense University of Madrid. Letizia, thank you for joining us.
Thank you to you.
And we have also Ms. Cristina Martinez Saldivar, officer at the International Project Office Promotion Unit at the University of Granada in Spain. Cristina, welcome to you as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind invitation.
And also a warm welcome to a dear colleague, also from Spain, Cristina Gomez Corquet. She is also national contact point for the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions. Hi, Cristina, and you're very happy that you join us and support us through the webinar.
Thanks a million for the invitation. Really looking forward to the event.
Yeah. So now, before we start with this very packed and exciting session on hosting offers, let me just give you a quick overview about this webinar and the rules we have here. So basically, it starts with technical issues. If you face technical issues, which we do often in India, unfortunately, but also in other parts, best is just to try to log out and log in again. That's possible to do. Please post your questions in the Q&A box and not in the chat box. We will not answer questions in the chat box. We prefer you send them to the Q&A. That makes life easier for us. Thank you for that. We will answer questions at the end of each sessions. Of course, there is a time limit, so please excuse us if we don't manage to answer all the questions, but you can send us your questions in the format of an email to us or to the speakers directly after the event. Don't worry, you will get a link to the recording of this webinar as soon as we have uploaded it on our ERCC in the YouTube channel, and we will also share the presentations of today's speakers with you. We also kindly ask you for your feedback about this webinar, but also about the entire webinar series. If you have attended the first and the second as well, please send us your feedback so that we know what we can improve for the future. Okay, now enough of the introduction, and I ask Vivek, please, to start with the first session with the presentation and the overview of the MSCA Call 2021. Vivek, it's yours.
Yeah, good afternoon and good morning to for the European colleagues, and good afternoon to all Indian participants. Once again, I just wanted to reintroduce myself. I'm Vivek Dham from EU delegation of the European Union in India, and I'm an advisor for research and innovation. I'm going to give you a brief presentation on Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action Postdoctoral Fellowship 2021. So this is a short outline of my presentation. I will be talking about the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action in general, then specifics of the postdoctoral fellowship program, then who could be your host country and institute, application formalities, ERA fellowships, evaluation criteria, and tentative timeline. This is the outline, and next 15-20 minutes I will try to touch upon all these points briefly. So most of the people will come across this word MSCA, that is MSCA. What does it mean? It is a long form of MSCA is Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action. So the abbreviated form is MSCA. Please remember that, because all the speakers onwards will use only MSCA fellowships. So this particular fellowship program is named after the legendary researcher Marie Sklodowska-Curie, popularly known as Marie Curie, because the Marie Curie's life, attitude, and the journey represents or the main elements of this particular program. That is her migration from Poland to France, her migration from different subjects to interdisciplinarity, intersectoral mobility, is all represents this particular program. Even the excellence, that is the Nobel Prizes achieved for her excellent research. So all these characteristics are the Marie Curie program, and that is why the program is named after her. This program is launched by European Union 25 years back, and this is the new framework program under the Horizon Europe. This program will continue for another 7 years. The Marie Sklodowska-Curie Action basically it supports the career development and training of excellent researchers across the world, and I will give you how this has been done in this particular program. So the European Union basically supports the research and innovation activity through its framework program, different framework program, and now the framework program for 21-27 is named Horizon 2020. This is the brief outline of the program. The program is divided in 3 pillars. So pillar 3 basically is dedicated for innovation. Pillar 2 is dedicated for collaborative research to address the societal challenges. And the pillar 1 is basically excellent research, that is the idea-driven research. Under this particular pillar, the European Research Council and Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions are part of this particular pillar. And then there are horizontal actions, that is widening participation and strengthening European research areas that I will touch upon later. Those who will be after your postdoc, maybe you will be applying for this Horizon Europe programs for collaborative research. So as I told, this particular program supports the entire path career of researchers from doctoral, postdoctoral, staff exchange, co-fund for PhDs, as well as the researchers' knives, that is the popularization of research to the ordinary people. All these aspects has been covered under the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions. I will not go into other details because our focus for today's program is based basically on postdoctoral fellowship program. So I will just focus on that. This program, the European Union will be investing around 6.6 billion euros for Marie Curie action. And in total, the Horizon Europe, the commitment for the it's 95.5 billion euros. That is probably one of the world's biggest publicly funded research and innovation program you will come across. So this is the first takeaway home message for all the participants, because this is what the rationale, this is what the idea behind the program, and it's very important to understand the idea, the rationale of the program, because that will reflect, that should be reflected in your application. This particular program in fact enhance the creativity and innovative potential of researchers who are holding a PhD. And it focused on international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary mobilities by giving an exposure to the researchers to non-academic sectors. If you ask me what it is all about, because this is a new generation of researchers the European Union is trying to create. This is not only about the research in lab, but those people who can translate that research into a product to make an use of that knowledge outside to tackle the societal challenge. So that is what we are trying to achieve, the new generation of researchers through the Marie Sklodowska-Curie Action Program. And that is why these 3 I's are given extreme importance in this particular program. So this, if you ask me, this is an idea-driven program. It is basically the researchers has a free choice, can formulate any research proposal of their choice in any of the disciplines. So it is idea driven, it is a bottom up. Bottom up means the researchers and the research institute who is going to host you can freely select any field of research to design a research program. And it can be just for a panel purpose to ranking and evaluation purpose. It has been divided in 8 panels, that is chemistry, physics, all STEM subjects, as well as social science and humanities and economics, because most of the time in India, the economics, science and social science is not part of the Ministry of Science and Technology. But in Europe, we treat these 2 disciplines as well as an integral part of the research. So you can take any of the field and you will find appropriate field and theme inside which your application can be fit. The only exception that the nuclear research will not be supported, the Indian researchers will not be supported who are conducting the nuclear research. So this particular program, fellowship program, the postdoctoral fellowship program, is divided into 2 fellowships. That is 2 types of fellowship. One is European Postdoctoral Fellowship and Global Postdoctoral Fellowship. The European Postdoctoral Fellowship is targeting those individuals from any part of the world who wants to come to Europe for a postdoctoral research. And the Global Postdoctoral Fellowship, which targets the European nationals or long residing any national in Europe who wants to do a postdoctoral in any part of the European, the rest of the part of the country or in the world. So I will be focusing only on the European Postdoctoral Fellowship because that is meant for the Indian researchers who wants to do a postdoctoral research in Europe. So this also includes an additional option or additional fellowship program, which is the integral part of that, is called ERA Fellowship, but I will elaborate that in my second part of the presentation. So I will just spend, this is a very important slide, eligibility for researchers. I will spend 2 minutes because we receive a lot of questions on it. So even though it is a lot of text in it, but I intentionally kept that text on the slide because this is again and again we came across a lot of questions. So the program is open to any nationality, that is including India, any national across the world can apply for Marie Sklodowska-Curie Action Postdoctoral Fellowship Program. No age limit, I will elaborate that how it is calculated, the no age limit. There is a very important mobility rule applies. What the program, if you have to apply for this particular program, the potential researchers, that is the postdoctoral candidate, cannot have received or carried out his main research activity or study in the country of their host organization for more than 12 months in last 3 years. I will give an example. If I'm Erasmus Mundus master degree student and I have spent 3 years in France, I will not able to do a PhD or postdoc in France because I need to find a new host. I need to go out of France. I can be in Spain, I can be any part of that. So you should not have resided in particular European, that host country for more than 12 months in last 3 years. That is the main mobility rule. You can read it again. This is very well elaborated in the researchers, the Marie Curie guidelines, which is available online. The second eligibility criteria is the candidate must hold PhD. I will repeat, the candidate must hold PhD or at least successfully defended his viva, his or her viva. Those people are actually eligible for the postdoctoral fellowship. So those defended means at least a provisional degree certificate should be in hand, because on 12th of October, that is the last date of submission, you need to upload the certificate on the application form. So otherwise you will be disqualified. So you should have a PhD degree or successfully defended a PhD degree. The candidate must have maximum up to 8 years of research experience of the degree. Should not be more than that. So there is a different, calculation you can. That is why I mentioned this slide a little bit elaborated. So if I had completed my PhD in 2013, I am eligible to apply a postdoctoral till 2020 or 2021. So those calculations for 8 years can be exempted, or can be will not be counted if you have a maternity leave of 18 months, parental leave of particular number of days that you need to produce the certification, compulsory national services, but in India that doesn't apply. Time spent not working in research, that is non-research activity, will not be considered in this particular 8 years. It could be a teaching or you are working in industry. This will not be considered as an 8 years. So there is a lot of exemption in that particular 8 years. So please go through this exemptions carefully. We will be sharing the applicant's guideline through our website as well as through the chat box. So who can host you? Any legal entity based in Europe and associated countries of Horizon 2020 can be your host. It could be from the academic sector, it could be a non-academic sector. From academic sector, it could be university, research institutions, or international European organizations. Even as I mentioned, the Marie Curie also gives a lot of opportunity for non-academic sector. So industry SMEs can also be potential hosts. It should be legal entity and actively engage in research and activity should be part of the proposal as a legal entity. Who could be the host country? So you will have an option of 45 countries to select. That is 27 European member states, and there are 18 Horizon Europe associated countries, which is just published. This you can select any host country from our research institute from these 47 countries. United Kingdom is also recently part of the association of Horizon 2020. Morocco is a new addition to it. So these are the countries that is either the European member state or the Horizon associated country who would be your host country for postdoctoral research. Who is involved in the application? Obviously, the candidate who is holding a PhD or successfully defended the viva. The supervisor who is actually from the European Host Institute, who will be guiding you for the postdoctoral research, is one of the key person with whom you will develop the key, your proposal. The guidelines has been given by the European Commission, who could be your supervisor, who will able to spare some time and able to give a research excellence to the potential postdoctoral candidate, can act as a supervisor. Beneficiary, that is the host institute in any of these 45 countries could be located in. So it could be university, institution. It should be recognized by the European Commission, that is the peak number, which is normally available online, and the administrative contact point of that particular institute. So these are the 4 main people who are involved into the application. How does it work? First, you need to find the host. After my presentation, there are 4 countries who will be presenting the host offer in that particular country's host institutions, which are available for international fellows. Then the proposal writing that will be done by the PhD or the postdoctoral candidate as well as the European supervisors together, because this is the joint proposal which will be developed by the host as well as the candidate. The submission of this proposal will be done only by the European host institution, because they are the one who is the recipient, who are the beneficiary. So they will nominate you as a potential candidate for that particular application. 1 proposal per individual is accepted. Your duration of this postdoctoral could be minimum 12 months to maximum 24 months. If you are selected, the host research institute or host European country will receive the fund from European Commission and recruit you as a researcher on their payroll. So novelty of this particular program, as already we mentioned, there are a lot of intersectoral mobility, international mobility. So secondment is very important part of this particular program. You can go for a secondment any part of the world for at least 1/3 of your fellowship duration. So when you will be planning your proposal, please make sure the secondment is already thought of, chopped up, and you can contact different potential secondment institutions for your proposal. So in addition, there is a 6 months placement after the 24 months completion, either in non-academic sector, because that is what the program is looking for, that we want an entrepreneur to be created, not only the scientist who has an entrepreneurial thinking way of approaching the problem. So that is why more exposure is given to researchers to work with the non-academic sector. Even you are not qualified and you score 85%, that also the commission will give a seal of excellence, because a lot of PI, the host institution, also may explore national funding for your application. So at that time, the seal of excellence will be a great value to your application. As I already mentioned, there is an additional option within this particular fellowship is called as ERA Fellowship. Basically, the ERA Fellowship, if anyone is, his or her host institute is located in this particular countries, that is widening, they call as widening countries, that is 15 European member states are considered as widening countries, and there are 14 associated countries also comes under. So your host institute, if located in any of this particular country, you will have a second option that it will, if you pass a threshold, but due to funding limit, you will not be funded. So there is an additional fund for the widening program that will be utilized for your selection. So please don't forget, if you are into this particular countries, your host institution is from this particular country, in your application form, there will be an option whether you want to opt for widening, additional widening fellowship program. So there is no separate submission. The same application will be automatically considered for the widening fellowship, that is ERA fellowships. As already Samrat mentioned, these Marie Curie fellowships are really generously funded. It is one of the best paid postdoc scholarship available across the world. So if you look at this particular allowances or the salaries which are offered, 5,080 euros as a living allowance, 800 euros mobility plus family allowance, and the institution who is going to host you will also have almost 1,650 euros additional cost for management of your postdoctoral thing. In addition, there will be a country coefficient will be applicable. So on an average, around 7,900 euros will be spent per candidate per month if you are selected. So in Indian currency, it will be around 7 lakh rupees per month. That is how much the European Commission spent per month for the postdoctoral candidate. So this call is already open. Please remember this particular call ID, because this is the entire European call system works with the numbers. So the MSCA 2021-PF 0101, that is the call code. There right now the call is open due to some technical problems. Still it is showing it is a forthcoming, but within a couple of days the application link will be open. So this application form or the entire call text is available on the funding and tender portal of European Commission. Along with this particular way of call, there will be different annexes available. Please go through different annexes, read carefully, because these are the main documents, official documents, which will guide you how to prepare a proposal. So the application form is divided into two parts. That is part A, which is more administrative part, which is the technical data, which is required, where all the candidates and institutional data will be filled in. That is the fixed format, that is online application form. The beneficiaries information will be requested. Gender equality plan will be because this is very important that in this particular program, gender equality has been given a special consideration, not only in the application, but in the evaluation of the proposal. Then the budget details are will be asked to give at that particular part A. Then ethics, the keywords, these are the technical data which you need to fill up along with the host institute in Europe. Part B, which is actually the research proposal, which you will be able to download that template and fill up the application form. So it has a two parts, part B1 and B2. The part B1 is actually your research proposal, which has a page limit of 10 pages maximum. It will have a different categories, that is excellence, impact, and implementation. That is the evaluation criteria will be based on that. So your application will be judged on these 3 parameters, and maximum page limit is 10. And apart from that, you will have to produce your CVs, letter of recommendation from the secondment institutions, then the participation organizations from different countries, ethics, and that is the declarations you need to give. As I already mentioned, the evaluation criteria is divided in 3 parts, that is excellent, impact, and implementation. The excellent has a maximum weightage, that is 50% of weightage, implementation is 30, and impact is 30, and implementation is 20. So these are the keywords what actually the evaluators look into the proposals, because you will learn a lot of things when you read the application guidelines. Basically, the evaluators are looking at the quality of the proposal, ambition, soundness of the proposal, interdisciplinarity, and the researcher's background. This all counts a lot of things in excellence weightage. The gender dimension and open science will need to be addressed, because that is also part of the excellence criteria. The impact, that is the main, how much this fellowship is going to enhance your career development, how will it will be contributed to the societal challenge, addressing the societal challenge, and then the implementation, which is the plan of work with the host institution. So please pay attention to these criteria when you are going to write this proposal. So the success rate for Horizon, for the Marie Curie European Fellowship is quite competitive. It ranged from 14 to 18% in last framework program under Horizon 2020. So good news is that there are 1,900 Indians managed to crack the European Marie Curie program. So it's quite an achievement, because India stands overall second in non-European countries. So India brings a lot of competence and a lot of additional value to this program. So Indians are really appreciated, their research skills are really appreciated. That is why they are more successful in this program. Overall, in last 7 years, 449 Indian researchers managed to get the postdoctoral fellowship. So this is quite a number which can encourage you people to look into that. This is the tentative the timeline, that is the call is already open on 22nd of June. It will close on 12th of October at 17 hours Brussels time. That is automatic. Please don't wait till the last time. Evaluation will be of proposals will be done in October, December. Information, that is the evaluation results, will be communicated somewhere in February, March. These are all tentative, but as the time progresses, the more and more information will be consolidated, and very authentic information will be available on the website. So the signing of grant agreement, if you are selected, will be done in March, April. And if you are selected, your postdoctoral fellowship could start anytime between April to September. But don't make hurry, because these are very competitive proposals, and there is some catch in between, because there is a 75% score limit for a second submission in next year. So unless and until you are 100% ready, then only you apply for this. Otherwise, there is a second chance, because this scholarship will again launch, or will be, the call for proposal will be launched in April 2022. So these are the tentative dates. So if you are not ready, please wait for the next call. So sir, these are some general tips, because what we understand from different queries, that we advise the people to read the work program, different documents of the call proposal. Guideline for applicants is the most important document to follow. Also read about the Horizon 2020 general policies, because that needs to reflect into your proposal. Use official templates, ask your support from host institutions, national contact points. Few are there today for today's presentation as well. Do not leave your application till last minute because you need to do it well before the time. This is time consuming, so start early as possible. So these are the important website which I will be leaving the presentations with you. So there is a specific email ID has been created by the European Commission to address these two scholarships. Those who are applying for a European scholarship, please write your queries directly to those email address because those are the most competent people who will immediately reply to you. So please write down this, but it will be available on the slides as well. So I think I will stop it here, and I will ask Samrat to take over from here. Thanks for your attention and all the best.
Thank you so much, Vivek, for giving us such a comprehensive overview about the call. And I think also the eligibility criteria has been very important. We have seen that many have raised the questions about especially the 8 years experience. And I think you sketched it out very well. And also that one should start immediately, not to wait too long. And I think also good that there is a dedicated email address also for, because it's a very, there are some technicalities in the call, which only, of course, the agency can answer who has, launched the call. And I think that's very good that we have dedicated email IDs where you can send your questions. Another thing is also, Vivek, there is a flyer also available, right, for Indian researchers made by the EU delegation, which is also available on the EU delegation website and the ERCC India website. We will share the link in the chat with you as well. So you can go through those flyers where explicitly you get an overview about eligibility, application procedure, and so forth, right, Vivek? Yeah. So we have a few questions, just Vivek, to you before we start with the session with our friends from the European institution. Vivek, the first question is it mandatory to have the area of research work in the PhD same as in the postdoc program? Or can one opt for a new field of research in this postdoc program, different to that what one has done in the PhD?
So that is what the beauty of the program, because it gives a lot of freedom to the researcher. If you are from physics and you want to do a biology from there, so you can have a transition. Interdisciplinarity is the main core of this particular program. So all the migration from one discipline to another, it is highly encouraged. So I will advise those people to look and explore those kind of areas which will give interdisciplinarity approach, and that is highly encouraged.
Great, yeah, see, that's a very important factor of this postdoc.
There is one more point, because at the panels, the 8 panels there, the researcher, the postdoctoral candidate, as well as the host institute will decide, because the names which, if you see the panels, is physics, chemistry. So you need to see under which category the proposal is more inclined, whether it is more physics or more biology. So that choice has been given to the researchers. So we will not judge, or nobody will advise you on that particular. It is the call taken by the host institute and researcher, which panel you want to apply.
Okay, that's very important information. Thank you, Vivek. A second question, Vivek. The proposal details and all other required information will be filled by the supervisor only. Does the fellow will have no access for filling any type of information in the electronic application?
No, actually this application will be open for both the ends, for you, for the candidate, as well as for the host supervisor, because it is an electronic access. You will be creating a proposal online. So once you enter into the proposal creation, both host as well as the candidate will have an access. But the submission of the button, that is where the beneficiary will be having the last right. So you can also update the proposal, and the host institute can update. So both has access. The submission only restricted to the institute which is going to host you.
There are quite a few more questions, Vivek, but I think we just go over to the next session, and then we will try to answer them in the meantime. And so now, thank you, Vivek, again. And now I have the great pleasure to ask Susanna from the Czech Republic to kindly tell us about the opportunities which are awaiting for Indian researchers in your country. Susanna, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Samrat, for a nice introduction. I hope you can hear me well and also see my presentation.
Yes.
Let me first of all warmly welcome all the participants, and I would also like to thank you, the organizers, for the invitation to this webinar. I hope you will enjoy it. Now I am going to talk about the Czech Republic and the host opportunities in my country. As you know, I am the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action and ERCC and CP in the Czech Republic, and I will guide you through the host opportunities in my country. But let me first of all introduce the Czech Republic, also known in a shorter name Czechia. It is the country which is rather a smaller one with nearly 80,000 square kilometers and the population of more than 10.5 million inhabitants, and with the capital Prague, which comprises more than 1 million inhabitants. My country is literally located in the heart of Europe, as you can see in this map. I would also like to say a few words about the Czech Republic as such. It is a landlocked country without sea, but with a rich and fascinating history, located in Central Europe. The costs of living are affordable compared to the west part of Europe. The costs are not as high as in other parts, which can be also an incentive for you to come to the Czech Republic. According to the Global Peace Index 2020, the Czech Republic is the 8th safest country in the world, and it attracts millions of tourists every year. It is not only Prague, but I would recommend to visit other places such as castles and chateaus, famous spas, well-preserved countryside with national parks, or historical cities and villages. And of course, you shouldn't forget to taste traditional Czech cuisine. Talking about the host opportunities, why should you choose a host institution in the Czech Republic? You can carry out your research in one of 26 public universities. All these links are active, and of course you will have this presentation at your disposal after the webinar, so you can click on the links and see the information about all the mentioned institutions. The oldest university in the Czech Republic, Charles University, situated in Prague, consisting of 17 faculties, established in the 14th century, is very well known among researchers. And then I would also like to mention the second university, Masaryk University, located in Brno, the second largest city of Czechia, with 10 faculties, which is, let's say, more modern institution, which can, of course, offer you a lot, possible supervisory cooperation, etc. Apart from the universities, you can also carry out your research in one of 54 institutes of the Czech Academy of Sciences. And of course, as there are so many institutes included in this central institution, the research can be in the areas of natural, technical, social sciences, and humanities disciplines. I would also like to mention that you can be hosted by so-called centers of excellence and research infrastructures, which were co-funded by national and also European sources. You will find the roadmap on this link, but let me mention at least some of these centers of excellence and research infrastructures. I would like to highlight, for example, CETEC, Central European Institute of Technology in Brno, or LA beamlines, extreme light infrastructure not far from Prague in Dolní Břežany. This is the institution which operates the world's most intense laser system. Then we can also offer research in Ostrava within IT4 Innovations, National Supercomputing Center at the University of Ostrava. Then if you are interested in medical research, then you can opt for example, FNUSA ICRC, which is International Clinical Research Center of the Sense and University Hospital in Brno, or not far from Prague, BioSev, which is a common institute of the biotechnology and biomedicine center of the Czech Academy of Sciences and Charles University. And then, of course, if you are interested, for example, in global change topics, then you can be hosted by Czech Globe, which is also a research institute of the Czech Academy of Sciences. Or if you are interested in the areas of nuclear energy, nuclear reactors, or physics, chemistry, then your choice could be SUSEN, Sustainable Energy, Řeš, not far from Prague. I would like to also mention, and it was already pointed out in the previous presentation, and I would really like to thank Vivek for his great, very informative presentation, summarizing all important aspects of the postdoctoral fellowships, that there is a so-called ERA Fellowships scheme, which is an alternative funding to those who are submitting their proposals under MSCA-Postdoctoral Fellowships call, and they choose the host institution in one of the widening countries. And we are lucky that Czechia is among widening countries. I shouldn't say maybe we are lucky, because it means that we are not very successful, and due to this fact, the European Commission wants to encourage the participation of the Czech Republic, but it gives us a great opportunity, because the researchers who choose Czech Republic as their host institution or host country, they can also ask for this support at the same time as they are applying for MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship. They can ask for being evaluated within this second alternative funding. The European Commission has allocated 10 million euros for this first call under Horizon Europe. And it means that you don't need to do anything more than just proactively opt for this option. In the administrative part of your proposal, you are supposed to fill in the information, and in the section call specific question in the administrative part, you will complete directly via FTO, Funding and Tender Opportunities portal. You just need to indicate your willingness that you want to participate in this call. And in case you are not successful in MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship call, then this is the second opportunity. And it is open only for those who are submitting their European fellowships, and you need to get at least 70%, which means that you would in practice need much more, because of course the competition is tough, but this can help you to succeed. I would also like to raise your attention to the second, or let's say third, alternative funding. It is a national funding scheme, which is complementary to MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship call. It is informally known in the Czech Republic as MSCA-PF CZ, and it is the International Mobility of Researchers program, which is funded via operational program, John Amos Comenius, OPIAC, and the budget, the money comes from the European Structural and Investment Funds. And let's say the principle is very similar. The only thing is that the provider is not the European Commission, but the Czech Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport. And if you are applying for MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship, but you are not successful, but at the same time, the score you receive is at least 70%, then you are also eligible to apply for this funding scheme. The Ministry of Education supports both directions. It means Czech researchers, but also foreign researchers who have chosen their host institution in the Czech Republic, which means arrivals to the Czech Republic, but also, for example, Czech researchers working in the Czech Republic or foreign researchers working in the Czech Republic who are going for their fellowship abroad. So both arrivals and also departures are possible, even though the departures from the Czech Republic are usually more complicated in terms of administration. We are waiting for the first call under this national funding scheme, and it is supposed to be open soon after the evaluation results of the first MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship call is communicated, which means at the beginning of 2022. And then if you apply to MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowships and your host institution is in the Czech Republic, the only thing you need is to contact the institution, the project office at the institution, which should be, or the staff of this office should be able to help you with all the bureaucracy. So that you don't spend too much time on it, and you just need to send them your proposal. Here, I would also like to mention that we have other national grant schemes which are open to researchers of any nationality who are carrying out their research in the Czech Republic. If it is basic research, then it is supported mainly through Czech Science Foundation, GACHR, and then applied research and experimental development is supported via the calls launched by the Technology Agency of the Czech Republic, TAČR. And of course, if you then spend your fellowship under MSCA in the Czech Republic and you decide to stay in the Czech Republic, this will be also one of the opportunities you can cover your research costs. And also, even though the objective of today's webinar is MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship call, I would also like to mention that the Czech Republic supports also those who are submitting their ERC grants, which means prestigious grants of the European Research Council. And that's why we have another Czech national scheme, which is open to any researchers. They choose the Czech Republic as their host institution. And this could be relevant information if you, after finishing your MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship, want to stay in the Czech Republic and want to, for example, apply for an ERC. So if you are not successful, which means you don't get the ERC grant funded, the grant funded by the ERC, the European Commission, but you get very good feedback. Your project is very well assessed, which means that you pass through the next step of the evaluation. Then you can also ask for the grant which is offered by the Czech Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport, and so that the whole 5 years can be funded if you receive A. I suppose not all of us is familiar with this, but with this terminology. But it means that for those who nearly got the grant, they can ask for the whole grant support, and those who were a little bit less successful and received B in the evaluation, then they can ask for funding for 2 years. This should be also motivation to reapply, to resubmit your proposal, because there is one obligation that you have to, within 2 years, apply again your ERC grant. And I would say that this could be also interesting information for those of you who are considering applying their postdoctoral fellowship with the Czech host institution. And now I would like to and my presentation with a couple of information about the institution where I work. It is a technology center of the Czech Academy of Sciences. Even though it has in its name the Czech Academy of Sciences, we provide national support to all applicants and of course also beneficiaries. It gathers national contact points in the Czech Republic, and we provide different kinds of services. Our mission consists in organizing trainings, workshops, information days. So for example, last week we had a 2-day workshop for MSCA-Postdoctoral Fellowships. We talking about the MSCA. I also provide individual consultations to applicants. We are active in publishing brochures related to different aspects of Horizon Europe. We also support public authorities such as the ministry and other entities, and we monitor also Czech participation in the framework programs. We launched at the beginning of this year a new national portal, which is also available in English. So if you are interested, please don't hesitate to visit this website. And of course, if you are interested in following us on Twitter, we have a Twitter account. And with that, if you have any question, I will be more than happy to ask your questions. And if you have any more specific questions related to Czech institutions, or if you are considering applying with Czech host institution, don't hesitate to contact me. You have here my contacts, my mobile phone or my email address. Thank you for your attention, and good luck all of you with your proposals.
Thank you so much, Susanna, for a very comprehensive, very detailed overview. And I think that's an excellent support structure also, which you have shared for potential researchers who want to apply for the MSCA Fellowship in the Czech Republic. We will go on to the next country, and we will do a common Q&A session. But thanks again for providing this information to our participants.
Thank you very much.
So next, thank you. So next we go to France, which unfortunately lost yesterday's match. In case we have somebody from the French side who has watched it, I'm very sorry for that. But France is a great country with a lot of opportunities to conduct postdoctoral research. Isn't it, Srini and Eugenia?
Yes, indeed. We lost yesterday so that we can give opportunities to some other countries too.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Indeed. So thank you very much for inviting us and for giving us this opportunity to present expressions of interest of French institutions. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizers for organizing this session, as this initiative actually had great success among the French scientific community. As soon as we received your request, we contacted French research centers, universities, Grande École, and other possible host institutions, and we received more than the expressions of interest from more than 30 different institutions. Each of them identified several laboratories and supervisors, and so our presentation today will be more like a database. So it's a very long presentation. I have 172 slides, but it should be perceived as a database, and we will explain you how to exploit it. So I will mainly show just how to find information in this presentation and not comment. Unfortunately, I will not be able to comment each slide. Okay, so I will share my screen. So, can you see my screen?
Yeah, could you put it in slide mode?
Okay, this is actually PDF. I will try to use the...
Just so that it's a full screen. But it's also visible like this, so it's fine, right, Srini?
It is also visible, but if you have a PDF easily accessible, it would be full screen possible. Otherwise, we are okay with that. Even in this, there may be a possibility of showing the full screen. I think there is a possibility, but
so can you see it in full screen now?
Not yet.
No. I see Srini in full screen.
That is a good news, actually. It's
okay. Yeah, I think
voila.
This sounds.
Is it fine now?
Not yet. You will be soon hitting the button of the diaporama.
There on the very
here
on the
at
very
the bottom right next to the percentage, bottom right next to the percentage. You look at the bottom, yeah, a little bit on the right side, which
looks like a monitor. Yeah.
No, next one.
One more. Yeah, we got it. Okay, excellent.
Okay, fine, perfect. Thank you. So just before to start talking about the expressions of interest, I would like to say a few words very shortly about France. So France, of course, is known for its fine cuisine, a rich cultural heritage, a beautiful landscape, and a soft climate, but it is also known for its excellent science. And for example, France has 65 Nobel Prizes, which gives it the 4th position in the world. And the 2nd place for Fields medals with 11 Fields medals. France has excellent research in all scientific areas, which puts it in the 6th place in scientific publications, among which half is an open access and more than 60% in collaboration with foreign researchers. France has 618 research and development staff, among which 2/3 are researchers and among which 32% are women. In Horizon 2020, France signed 7,727 grant agreements with average success rate of 15 and 42%. France is also aiming to become a startup nation with important national support and national funding dedicated to startup creation and entrepreneurship. It strongly supports disruptive innovation, and France is actually the 2nd patent applicant in Europe. It provides support to innovation and entrepreneurship through dedicated national funding, public services, and facilities. And as you can see on this scheme, the public funding for deep tech enterprises is growing from one year to another, and in last 7 years it considerably increased. So this scheme, I try to make it very simple, just to show you the relations and interdependence between different kind of French institutions, as the national research and innovation landscape is quite complex. So we see here academic sector and non-academic sector, a very important notion when you apply to postdoctoral fellowships. And so inside academic sector, you will find different kind of institutions which are independent legal entities and which may be the beneficiaries of postdoctoral fellowships. These institutions are either national research centers or universities or grandes écoles, just as some examples. And inside non-academic sector, we can see large enterprises, SMEs, NGOs, hospitals, museums, or public agencies, which are all independent legal entities. But research is being led mainly inside the laboratories, which may be either mixed research units or proper research units. What does it mean? So the laboratories are not autonomous legal entities. They are under administrative supervision of such entities as national research centers or university or it may also be enterprises or museums in some cases, so that staff working for a laboratory may belong a part of staff may belong to national research centers or a university or an enterprise, but they will work together in the same laboratory. So if you need to identify the research topics, you should you should check what is being done in the laboratories, but please know that the institution that will apply, that will submit the proposal with you, will be either the National Research Center or the university or any other autonomous legal entity which has the administrative supervision of your laboratory. So you will be the staff of either the university or the National Research Center, etc. So now I continue with the presentation of different expressions of interest, and we will start with the national research centers. The biggest one is the CNRS, French National Research Center, and I will leave the floor to Srini Kaveri.
Thank you, Eugenia. Would you please go to the next slide? Next slide.
Yes, I'm trying. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me also welcome you all to CNRS, which stands for Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique. Next slide, please. If you have not heard, next slide, please. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Srini, there is, okay.
All right. Okay, for those people who might not be aware of what CNRS or Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique in French, or National Center for Scientific Research is, it is probably one of the biggest and most prestigious research organizations in the world. And we cover every branch of science, interdisciplinary research, and to be a little bit pretentious and show off, we have 22 Nobel laureates and 11 Fields awardees amongst us. And we have a coverage of approximately the entire country. We have the research laboratories, and some of the laboratories are also present outside India. For example, there are 2 research laboratories which are mixed research laboratories, even in India. One in the Indian Institute of Science, and the second one is Chennai Mathematical Institution. We have been highly successful in attracting people, students from all over the world, and even from India, and even in Horizon 2020 program, as you can see, 324 MSCA individual fellowships were funded. And so you have all the reasons to apply to CNRS laboratory for your MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship. My name is Srini Kaveri, and I represent CNRS in India. Next slide, please. What we are going to do with Eugenia over the next 2 hours, no, I'm joking, it's not 2 hours, for the next 15 minutes or so, is to display to you all the requests that we have received from various laboratories. I will take you through just 1 horizontal or 2 horizontal lines to tell you how this works. If I were you, your first question would be, how do I find a lab? You are talking about CNRS, you're talking about, and Eugenia is going to talk about 30 other beautiful institutions, universities, research centers. But how do I find my lab? I'm a biologist. I'm interested in RNA biology, for example. How do I do? So what you do is, over the next, you will receive probably this afternoon or tomorrow, this entire database of 170 pages. Sit down, look at these pages. What are you interested in? You are interested in RNA biology, for example, or anything on molecular biology. Look at the keywords, research area keywords. Once you have found the keywords that are of interest to you, All that you have to do is to go to the lab and see their publications, how they're doing. If that is interesting for you, and if this is relevant, this is exactly what you want to do, all that you have to do is to go to the left lane, supervisor, you have the name of the scientist. You have the address, email ID of the scientist. Then at the last page, on page number 170, we have given you instructions as how to write a brief CV, a brief synopsis of your work, and one or two other instructions. You send your request to the scientist in question with a CC to me. My name is Srini Kaveri and my email ID is on the page number 170. You will see that. If you are an electrochemist and if you are interested in electrochemistry or materials or organic, inorganic hybrids, etc., all that you have to do is to look for the keyword. This is the fourth line, for example, fourth horizontal line. Electrochemistry lab, you know which lab it is. On the right side, you have the website. You have to go to the publications and look at the publications. If they are of interest for you, all that you have to go is look for the scientist, for example, which is Alain Valcarius, and you have to write to him with all the details that we have shown you on 170. I'll stop here. Eugenia, you can move to the next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Here is my contact detail. Once again, my name is Srini Kaveri. I'm the director of CNRI's office in New Delhi, and there is the email ID. You will also see it because you will receive it. Samrat is kind enough to send it to you. And now Eugenia will talk about 30 other research organizations over a period, over about, let's say, 150 pages. Don't be alarmed. All that you have to do is to look for the keywords, the lab, and the scientist or the supervisor's name, and start writing. Thank you very much, and I'll be here to answer your questions at the end of this little session. Eugenia, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Srini. And actually, Srini explained you the main message we would like to leave you with this presentation, how to exploit actually this information. And all the presentations that will follow the CNRS presentations are structured in a very similar way. So you will find some key numbers about the institutions, then interested laboratories with their research areas in keywords. So first you identify through the keywords the laboratory or the laboratories that may interest you. Then you check the publications of the supervisor. This is actually very important to really understand if this supervisor is really somebody you will be interested to work with. And then you contact the supervisor with a copy to Srini Kaveri and the national contact point for Marie-Skłodowska reaction. So me and my colleagues, you will also find our email at the slide 170. So I will just continue. Here are still some slides from the CNRS. And next research center we would like to introduce you is the INSERM, is the National Research Center for Health and Medical Sciences. And they also identified several labs interested in hosting Indian postdoctoral researchers. So here you have some key numbers about the INSERM. And here you have interested researchers with, again, the keywords about the research area of their teams, links to the publications and the contacts. Here it is. They have different sites in different cities of France. And their presentation is structured by these geographical sites. Sorry, trying to move to the next slide. Okay. So this is still INSERM. I'm sorry, I will probably try to share my PDF file, as PowerPoint seems not to work really well. Just excuse me 1 minute. Okay, we were talking about the INSERM. So here you can see the different sites of INSERM, and this institute is also under the supervision of INSERM and the CNRS and also other institutions, which is a Cancer Research Center of Lyon. Here you have another institute of INSERM, which is the Genetic Diseases Institute. And again, the contacts of the supervisors, links to the publications. Now I move to another research center with the CEA, meaning Commissariat à l'Énergie Atomique Nuclear Energy Research Center. But please note that their research is not only in nuclear energy, but in many different other areas such as climate and environmental sciences, astrophysics, for example, theoretical physics. And there are two institutes which express their interest to host Indian postdocs. One is Life Sciences Frédéric Joliot-Curie Institute. And so you have also interested supervisors, and please know that you also have for these institutes, for each institution actually who expresses interest, the contacts of the EU grants office. So for example, for CEA, you have here Isabelle Philippe. So these are people who are not the researchers, not the supervisors, but who are working for research support offices, and I strongly advise you to put them in a copy when you contact your supervisors. And François Jacob Institute of Biology, with also just their research in keywords, some key figures, and at the end you will have the contacts of the supervisors here. Then there is IFREMER, is also another national research center specialized in research on seas and oceans. And their presentation structured again in the same way, some key figures, keywords, and interested supervisors with the links to their publications. And the contact of EU Grants Office. And then I finished with national research centers, and I will continue with the universities. I organized the university's presentations in alphabetical orders, and please note that each university has a name of the city or town where it is located. So Angers University, some key figures and interested supervisors, keywords, contact of the EU Grants Office. Avignon University, the same key figures, interested laboratories and supervisors. Okay, then we continue with Southern Brittany University, located in the Brittany, which is the region of France on the Atlantic coast. Proposed topics, identified supervisors, links to the publications and to the lab. And Western Brittany University, again, the same organization. Côte d'Azur University, Nice, in the Mediterranean coast, with, again, the same structure of presentation, laboratories, keywords, supervisors, and contact of the EU Grants Office. Montpellier University, also in the south of France. Gustave Eiffel University, located in Paris. Lille University in the north of France. Lyon, several institutions, many institutions from Lyon were very interested in this initiative. So you have here many interested supervisors, different research areas, links to publications. Lyon 3 University, Jean Moulin, another university from Lyon. Thematic areas of the laboratories, the contacts. Lyon Catholic University. Rennes is another town of city in France. And again, the same structure. Havre Normandy in the north of France. Okay, the contacts. Then put twice the University of Montpellier, sorry. Paris-Créteil University in the Paris region. Interested units and supervisors. Then Sorbonne Université, probably the most known abroad, French university. Some key figures and interested supervisors. Perpignan University, also in the south of France, with 2 interested supervisors. You even have their pictures, and the grants office contact. Reims Champagne Ardennes University. So now I finished with university and several presentations from Grande École. Grande École are the higher education and research institutions, usually specialized in some specific areas, and that provide advanced training in these areas, usually such as engineering, sciences, or business. And they also act as administrative supervisors of laboratories. So AgroParisTech, an engineering school in agro sciences. So again, you have different laboratories and links to publications and to supervisors, and the contact of the EU Grants Office of AgroParisTech. Burgundy School of Business with 1 interested supervisor. You also have his picture. École Normale Supérieure of Lyon, another institution from Lyon, show you some key figures, laboratories, supervisors, and EU Grants Office. Institut Mines Télécom Atlantique in Brittany, another engineering school and telecommunications. Publications, keywords, many interested supervisors with contacts, and the EU Grants Office contact. INALCO is a National Institute in Languages and Civilizations. So again—
Sorry, Eugenia, to interrupt, but could we kindly come to—
Sure, sure.
Please,
it's almost over, sorry. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So INSA, another engineering school in Rouen, Normandy. And there is also 1 public agency which was interested, called CEREMA, Agency for Climate. And they also have several research areas and interested supervisors. And just to close my speech, once you have identified supervisor, but Srini mainly explained the process. So please check if you are eligible, and then send your expression of interest to the supervisor or supervisors of your choice. And we would advise you to include your CV updated, a research proposal summary, very short and maximum 2 pages, a letter of interest with the motivation to join the lab of your choice, explain why you are interested in this lab and in this supervisor. Please don't forget to copy so the Srini address, Dersi New Delhi office CNRS, and the national contact point address psnmariecurie@recherche.gouv.fr. The deadline will be the 26th of July, and then the pre-selected expressions of interest the expressions of interest will be pre-selected based on the quality of the research idea, and you will be contacted to make then a formal application with your supervisor. And at the end, just a few words about available support at national level to the applicants. So first of all, there will be your host institutions. And today, most institutions have dedicated support both on proposal preparation stage. They may organize coaching sessions, proofreadings, provide some resources such as annotated proposals. And the implementation stage will help you further with the reporting and provide assistance with project implementations and different practical aspects. So for these, please contact as soon as possible the EU Grant Office of your host institutions. There are also NCP, so for France, it's me and my team. We also provide services and resources to the proposer. So here you have our email address. You will find a lot of useful information at our national page. I put the link here. And finally, for questions concerning visa, accommodation, health insurance, and other practical aspects of life in France, you have ERCC France. Thank you very much. I finished.
Thank you so much, Eugenia and Srini, for extremely valuable database and showing these enormous opportunities which are there for Indian researchers, and also the great support which is possible and available. And also thank you for mentioning ERCC Service Center support in France as well for incoming international researchers. Now, with no further delay, we ask our next country in the southern part of Europe, a beautiful country, Portugal, to kindly present the hosting offers available there. So let me just see if Professor Rui is with us. I think he maybe wasn't able to join, David.
No,
so
he wasn't. Actually, no, he wasn't. Actually, we have a big meeting today in Portugal, which is called Meetings Science, Encontro Ciência, Meeting Science. And we have actually an invited country to our meeting, which is actually France. So he is in a meeting with France, and he was not able to join us. But I am very, I am very glad, and I'm very to be here with you. Good afternoon to you all. I will be presenting. I will start by sharing my screen. First, you'll see an image that is not actually from Portugal. Actually, I don't know from where it is, and then I'll start my presentation. So I think we are set now. So I'll be talking to you about a little bit of hosting opportunities in Portugal within the framework of this Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. Which has already been mentioned, they are a special kind of postdocs because they are based on mobility, or not only across countries, international mobility, but also across sectors, which means between academic and non-academic sectors, and also across disciplines. And they have a big focus on improving the career prospects of fellows. So in the long-term improvement of the career perspectives of fellows that are enrolled in these programs. And just mentioning this very briefly, because I think it's very important when you choose a country for your host institution to take into account all of these dimensions, not only the international mobility, but also these possibilities of intersectoral and interdisciplinarity mobility in order to improve your career and your development as a researcher. So one of the instruments that it is the postdoctoral fellowships, that's the one we are going to be focused around here in these presentations. It's one of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, the postdoctoral fellowships, which is actually a new name for the individual fellowships. So until up to 2020, these postdoctoral fellowships were called individual fellowships. Actually, I think the new name is much better. It's much more clear. And so this is the success rate, which was also already mentioned in the past slides. I may highlight that in the first year of the last framework program, 2014-2020, it was the year with the highest success rate in this program. So maybe it is a good idea to apply this year, which is again the first year of a new framework program, which is called now Horizon Europe. And so within the scope of this last framework program between 2014 and 2020, and still when postdoctoral fellowships were called individual fellowships, the European Union started this pilot with the Widening Fellowships, which is an additional, as already was being mentioned, an additional set of fellowships that are given to widening countries, which are a set of countries that are the countries that are underrepresented in the competitive European Union programs, and these are completely linked with the postdoctoral fellowships, or in this case, the individual fellowships. So anyone who applies for the for the postdoctoral fellowship will be eligible also for this now called ERA fellowship contest. So I'm mentioning this because Portugal was quite active in the last framework program within this type of widening fellowship. So it was the country that had most submissions to the widening fellowships. And also it was the country with most widening fellowships awarded. And as you can see, the widening fellowships, which add up to the postdoctoral Marie Curie fellowships, make up for a significant increase in the applications that are hosted in Portugal. So thanks to these widening fellowships, the increase of grants in the Portuguese institutions was of 78%, which accounts for a total success rate of 14% when you put together both the postdoctoral fellowships, here still called individual fellowships, and the widening fellowships, which now are called ERA fellowships. ERA stands for European Research Area, which is the new widening fellowships. So if you apply with an host institution in Portugal, you are eligible for the second opportunity, which is the ERA fellowships. So if you score above 70%, you might get funding through this second opportunity, and Portuguese institutions have been quite successful in this type of fellowships scheme. So I'll talk you a little bit about the Portuguese National Research and Innovation System. So the system has grown a lot in the last decades. It multiplies by a lot the number of researchers, the number of papers published, the number of citations, and the institutional ecosystem also has grown and diversified, and has created links with sectors outside science, such as the economy, such as innovation, scientific culture. And I will not talk into details about this institutional ecosystem. I will talk about some of it in the next slides, but just to give you an idea that the Portuguese research and innovation system is now quite mature and quite well developed, and has been growing a lot in the past few decades. There has been a lot of progresses in laws that recently there has been a change in the scientific careers to make to offer better opportunities and better research and more benefits and stability to researchers in Portugal. So there have been some laws published in order to organize research careers, and also there has been set up an innovation strategy in order to link the research that is done actually to the economy and to the development of the country and of Europe, which is very important in a Marie Curie scope, because there is a strong incentive to the links and to the impacts outside the academy. So there are a number of research units in Portugal. There are 312 research units all across in all fields, and 40 more associate laboratories, which are a different kind of research units that we can say that are I would say bigger research units than the normal research units, also across all areas of knowledge. There are 39 universities, public and private, and also polytechnic universities, also public and private universities. There is also a significant technological infrastructure set up. such as technological centers, science and technology parks, technology-based incubators, technology and knowledge transfer units. So this kind of setup, it's also important in the perspective of a Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship, because even if you have an academic host institution, you may have associated partners that are from the non-academic sector, that is actually welcomed in the evaluation of Marie Curie applications, and it is highly incentivized by the European Commissions. That is why you can have an additional placement of 6 months after the 2-year period in the Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowships. You can have an additional 6 months placement in the non-academic sector. So there is also a lot of links to the non-academic sector. There is a network of interface centers, which is our institutions and organizations that that aims to link the research that is done in universities and research institutions to the industry and to the non-academic sector in general. So this again is important if you, in a Marie Curie postdoctoral fellowship perspective, that strongly incentivize links to the non-academic sector. There is also this other types of institutions, which are the collaborative laboratories, which are laboratories again in several thematic areas that gathers in particular regions agents from different sectors, like the academy, like the industry, civil society, even the general public as actors, and try to engage in the development of the region, of the country, and of Europe through this collaboration between research and between other economic agents. There are collaborative laboratories, as you can see, in many areas, from health, social services, new materials, agriculture and food, energy and sustainability, biodiversity and forest, digital and information systems, climate, space, and oceans. As I said, the R&D systems has been growing a lot in the last decades. Here you can see the investment of the main funding agency for research and development in Portugal, which is FCT, Foundation for Science and Technology, where I work. So the investment in the scientific system has been increasingly steady through the last decades. Here we can see the last few years. These funds are for scholarships, scientific employment contracts, research infrastructure, scientific projects. It is been a growing investment in science. So we have a network prepared to support the participation of Portugal in Horizon Europe research programs, which is called Portugal in Europe Research and Innovation. Which puts together some of these institutions in Portugal, like Foundation for Science and Technology, also the National Agency for Innovation, Portugal Space, the one agency for research in biomedicine, and others. So the aim of this collaboration is to foster and promote the participation in the European Union funding programs, such as Horizon Europe, where actually the postdoctoral fellowships Marie Curie are fit in. So the participation in the framework programs by Portuguese entities has been growing in the last years. So Horizon now the last framework program ended in 2020, which was Horizon 2020. So now you are starting Horizon Europe, which will be for the next few years. So we have a relevant participation in the previous framework program, not only of higher education institution, but also of other types of institutions, and like even small, medium enterprises and large companies. There is also some flagships initiatives that are now part of the Portuguese research and innovation system, like the AIR Center, which is an Atlantic International Research Center, which is an international collaboration to address global challenges and local priorities in the Atlantic Ocean. Actually, it is located in one of the Portuguese islands in the Azores, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. It's halfway between Europe and the United States. And it promotes an integrative approach to space, climate, ocean, and energy in the Atlantic, supported by emerging technological innovations and advances in data science through South-North and North-South cooperation. So there is also, so this is the AIR Center. It is actually located, as I said, in an island in the middle of the Atlantic. There's also Portugal Space, which is the Portuguese Space Agency, whose primary purpose is to promote and strengthen space in Portugal. So it is also the national representative for Portugal in the European Commission for matters related to space. Also, the Clinical Research and Biomedical Innovation Agency. So it is an agency that supports mainly research in the field, in the biomedical field, including clinical research, which is actually performed in hospitals and clinics by medical doctors, together with research scientists, and another in Code 2020, the National Initiative for Digital Skills, which it's also a flagship initiative of the Portuguese Research and Innovation System. So Portugal is now considered by the European Innovation Scoreboard in 2020 a strong innovator, which again, it's important when we consider the links that are incentivized by Marie Curie programs to other sectors outside academy. I want to finish talking about and show you a little bit of this site, which is Study and Research in Portugal, where you can find a lot of information about research centers, about living in Portugal, and about how to get support for your applications. Before I go to that, I will just leave you one last slide, which you'll have access with my contacts. I'm an MSCA National Contact Point, and also European Research Council and Widening, and also of Rui Munha, which is National Contact Point for both the European Research Council and Widening. So I'll just end the show, and I'll show you a little bit of this European study and research in Portugal, where you can find a lot of information that you can use for finding, for instance, in this case, a postdoc. You can just follow and try to see all the opportunities that are available in Portugal, and also contacts. Actually, it is a starting point. And as to end, I would like to give you also, as it was mentioned in the beginning, Portugal is actually a really nice country. It is the third safest country in the world. And I will just finish up with a 1-minute video with images from Portugal. Please just let me know if you are not hearing the sound. I try that you may hear the music, but if that's not the case, please tell me. I'll just leave it. It is a very short video.
human beings, we have multiple sensors receiving information from several sources at the same time. We gather all this data and use it to create. Creativity is the heart of innovation, and creative people need to be inspired, need to see beyond the office, the classroom, or the lab. This is what makes us different and unique. Portugal provides an inspirational environment to help you excel and exceed your expectations. Here you can use your knowledge for a greater good. Over time, Portugal has become an inspirational ecosystem. Arts, startups, tourism, technology. Today, we can say we have knowledge running in an inspirational environment. Find us at our website to get even more inspired. This is why you should consider us, visit us, and move here. Because we understand what is really important to you, your family, your career, and your work. Study and research in Portugal.
So this is it. Thank you. I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, David. Very impressive video at the end, but also very great presentation. And I think, fantastic opportunities for our participants, if you're interested to go to Portugal and do your fellowship there. We are quite a bit delayed with the webinar. Sorry for that. And also, but thank you for those who are, many of you are still with us, quite many. And we go now to the neighbor of Portugal, to Spain, and I kindly ask our Spanish colleagues to start with your presentations and tell us about the hosting offers available in Spain. Xavier, you were the first. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, the way that we're going to be presenting in Spain is a bit different, as you have seen, because we have brought with us two institutions who are going to be sharing their expressions of interest. And from my side, I'm going to start by talking maybe of what might be a little bit less interesting for you, but on the long term, I think it is relevant information. So I'm going to try to be quick on this because you will have all the information in the slides with the links and the email addresses. So I work in the Spanish Foundation for Science and Technology, which has the aim, it's a foundation that belongs to the Spanish Ministry of Science and Innovation, and we have the overall aim, let's say, of bringing science closer to society. This includes several lines, but one of them is supporting the Spanish R&D and I system towards its openness and its internationalization. And that's the reason why I'm here. And I'm actually going to talk to you about two initiatives which are under this line of action and with which we collaborate in order to contribute to successful Marie Curie applications here in Spain. So it's from one side, access, as our host mentioned at the beginning, I'm a fellow at Access member, but also the Oficina Europea, the European office, which are our NCP colleagues, and in which I'm just starting brand new in the last few weeks. So from the side of Access, as you've heard in previous presentations, this is a network which is present in 42 countries and provides support in terms of international mobility and career development. But I would like to highlight some resources if you want to participate in a Marie Curie funded research position. So of course, one of them is the Access jobs database, which I think that you have also received the links through the questions and answers as I have seen. So you can look there for offers there, which you can find in Spain and in other countries, and you can specifically look for Marie Curie positions which are funded by Marie Curie Actions. What kind of information are you going to find there? This is a real example that I just looked for yesterday in the afternoon, funded under Horizon 2020 ITNs, and it's a position for a postdoctoral, so a postdoctoral researcher. So you have information about the institutions, you have information about the project benefits and eligibility criteria. On the other one, and I think this might be even a bit more interesting, especially for the core content or the core topic of this presentation, are the hosting offers. In the hosting offers, you can find several things, but from the side of Spain, you will definitely find many expressions of interest from research performing organizations or from specific research teams within these organizations, looking for candidates to prepare now PF proposals. this is once again one more example that I just looked for yesterday, and it's an example from a university in Alicante. And there you will find information that many of you were asking about in the questions and answers box, such as research group, which is the project, which are the kind of requirements that they have, and of course, contact information in order to have this interaction and see if you find an agreement or you find an agreement to prepare a proposal. Then let's say that both the jobs and hosting, as I said, are basically shared by all the EURAX's national networks. So it's resources that we have available for all of the countries that participate in the initiative. But specifically within our national network, we try to make a close collaboration, particularly with our NCP colleagues, in order to provide as much visibility as possible to any research opportunity that you have in the country, including, of course, those funded under the Marie Curie actions. This is a section that we call Science in Spain. As I said, you will have the links there in our slides. And I would like to highlight two particular resources in which we put lots of care to keep updated and to update every year, basically. So on one hand, we have what we call the research career path in Spain at glance, where we have, let's say the structure would be a traditional academic research career in Spain, which probably is not very different from other European countries. And then we have mapped the existing funding opportunities for each of the career stages. Of course, that includes the European opportunities, so basically Marie Curie and the ERCC in the case of the framework program, but then also the national calls and regional calls, many of them also actually funded under or co-funded under the Marie Curie co-fund program. And then related with the later, with the Marie Curie co-fund programs, I would like to mention also as part of the Science in Spain section, that we also make quite a big effort in collaboration with the Marie Curie national contact points to keep updated information about the recruitment plans of the existing or our ongoing co-fund programs in Spain. That means that we have a brochure, we have a PDF that once again, we try to periodically update, and it's available for downloading from the Spanish side. But as this, of course, are one-time shots, we try to keep the information alive and through a Marie Curie co-fund program map that you can also find the link to in our EURAX's Spain network. And then the other part, this will be from the side of EURAX's, but as I said, in collaboration with our NCP colleagues, we have what I call the Oficina Europea, which brings together a number of NCPs, specifically the ones that we are talking about, the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, but also some other NCPs from other programs, including ERCC or Widening. I'd like to think this structure, the Oficina Europea, has been running since Horizon 2020. It will be running also as Horizon Europe. And it has some responsibility, or it's one of the many pieces that put together a success story for Spain, which is the fact that we are the second country in terms of granted individual fellowships within Horizon 2020. This is, as I said, from the side of the Marie Curie actions, is particularly from the side of Oficina Europea, we have to be thankful about it for our NCP colleagues, particularly Cristina, who's here with us in our meeting, but also Jesus, who was also participating as NCP during Horizon 2020. But we're happy to inform that right now the team has grown. So it's now 2 more people, Maria and myself, although some of us, like myself, are still very much at the beginning of our learning curve. But we hope to be providing this kind of support in order to help any interest in participating in a Marie Curie action. What kind of support are we talking about? Well, obviously participating and organizing info days and training sessions such as this one. We also attend in this email that was in the previous slide, resolving particular questions that we have. We also provide a service of proposal review, although in this particular case, as it's a huge amount of work, and although, as I said, the team has grown now for Horizon Europe, it's focused particularly in doctoral network, staff exchange, and co-fund programs. We also provide support in terms of management, particularly of the co-fund programs, but also support to supervisors, and we also arrange periodic meetings and proposal preparations. So just be informed that if eventually you come for a Marie Curie action, the implementation of a Marie Curie action here in Spain, you have our contact there in order to provide the support. And that would be all from my side.
Thank you so much, Xavier. Very comprehensive presentation and also the great support which the ERCC centers have, and also the MCA. So next we go to Letizia from the University of the Complutense University of Madrid.
Right. Wait a moment, I'm staring. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So hello everybody. My name is Letizia Riaza, and I work at the European Research and Development Office of the Complutense University of Madrid, and I'm going to tell you about 2 initiatives of my institution to attract research talent. Regarding Complutense University of Madrid, I can tell you that it's one of the oldest in the world and the largest in Spain, and I can also say that it is strongly connected to an increasingly modern and attractive city in Europe, which is Madrid. And Complutense attracts every year about 80,000 students of very different nationalities. This is important, but what about the researcher? Well, the numbers are good. Participation in European programs such as Horizon 2020 is strongly recognized, especially in mobility programs like Maria Skłodowska-Curie Actions. Moreover, the implementation of the Human Research Strategy for Researchers still is a priority to increase our attractiveness, because our numbers are good, but we could be better if we attract talent to our institution. On the one of the initiatives I'm going to talk is the expressions of interest. Well, there are researchers at the university who want to participate in the next Maria Skłodowska-Curie Postdoctoral Fellowship call, and they are looking for postdoctoral researchers to do so jointly. We collected this host offer. There are almost 200 in a web search application that will help you postdoctoral researcher, to find the offer that best suits your interests. Yes, enable and use the filter, and you can search by faculty, research area, keywords, etc. And in these host offers, which actually are invitation to participate jointly in the postdoctoral fellowship call, you will find interesting information about the researcher, who will be the scientific supervisor of the proposal, his or her group, as well as the proposed research topic. If you are interested in one of them, you should contact the corresponding supervisor, scientific supervisor, directly. In each offer, you will find information on how to do it, so don't worry. And what kind of what support do we provide? Do we provide at the European office? Well, here you can see a list of the action we carry out. For example, what we believe helps applicants the most is a complete step-by-step guide with all the resources needed to write a competitive proposal with Complutense as the host institution. And as a novelty this year, we are organizing a course with a specialized company to also help in the writing process. You have all the information about this initiative on this website. Well, not all of it. The link to the step-by-step guide is being updated for the new features of the 2021 course. So we are waiting for the call open, but you can also subscribe to this website to receive updates. Okay, the next one. The second initiative, which is actually a funding program of the university, is the UNA for Career program. UNA for Career, as I said, is a program that involves the recruitment of postdoctoral researchers to develop research, training, and knowledge transfer projects at the Complutense. Through this second and last call, the Complutense University expects to recruit up to 20 postdoctoral researchers to join one of the 94 research groups of the university classified as excellent. This is important. It is only possible to participate in this call together with an excellent group from the institution, not just any research group. On this website, you will find all the information related to this call for applicant. For example, contract cost and contract duration and other contract conditions, or which are the excellent groups. And you will also find a web search engine similar to the expression of interest. To summarize and also to add, to provide some more information, I leave you the following table. I hope you find this table very useful because I have made a comparison between the two initiatives and added information such as deadline, for example. And that's all from my side. I hope you found this presentation interesting. I don't know, I have to leave the webinar, sorry, but if you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact me or my colleagues by the email that you can see the promotion or ID, and we will pleasure to answer you. And if we are lucky, see you in Madrid.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leticia. I know that you have to go to another important appointment, but still, I think a great offers at the Complutense University. And as Leticia said, you can always contact her, and we will also share her presentations with you. Thank you so much. And we go to the last but not the least speaker of this afternoon. Thank you for your patience, all the presenters, and thank you, Christina. You are next in this webinar.
Well, nice to see you again. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Well, hello, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers the opportunity they have given us to make the University of Granada known. We are a very active university and attracting international talent. Let me introduce me again. I am Cristina Martinez Aldivar Moreno, the advisor of Health, Biological and Earth Science area at the promotion unit in the International Project Office of the University of Granada. Today I'm going to talk about the UGR, the International Project Office, where I work, and how from there we manage and help the candidates to prepare, in the case that concern us today, the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Postdoctoral Fellowships proposals. Well, the University of Granada, founded in 1531, is one of the largest and most important universities in Spain, with over 45,000 undergraduates, 6,000 postgraduate students, 3,300 PhD students, 3,700 researchers, teachers, and 2,600 administrative staff. UGR offers a total of 89 degrees, 110 master degrees, and 28 doctoral programs through its 123 departments and 70 centers. Consequently, the UGR offers one of the most extensive and diverse range of higher education programs in Spain. The UGR also has awarded with the Human Resources Excellence in Research, which reflects the UGR's commitment to continuously improve its human resource policies in line with the European Charter for Researchers and the Code of Conduct for the Recruitment of Researchers. UGR is also a leading institution in research located in the top of the Spanish universities by a variety of ranking criteria, such as national R&D projects, fellowships awardees, publication, or international funding. UGR is also one of the few Spanish universities listed in the Shanghai Top 500 ranking. Internationally, we bet decidedly by our participation in the calls to European Union. For the duration of the last two framework programs, the UGR has obtained a total of 67 projects, and for Horizon 2020, 118 projects. The UGR is committed to attracting talent from around the world, and a consequence of this is the financing of our Maria Skłodowska-Curie Fund, Atenea 3i, in 2016, through which we have hired 20 fellows and which will end in September of next year. The International Research Project Office reports to the Vice Directorate for Research and Knowledge Transfers, together with the National Funding Research Project Office and Knowledge Transfers Office. It is divided into two units. One of them is the Promotion Advisory Unit, and the other one is the Management Unit. The office offers a variety of services such as advertising calls, grant to attend minutes during the process of creating and submitting a proposal, advice on planning and submitting international proposals, dissemination of information on the different calls of international projects, negotiation grant agreement once proposals are accepted, financial management of international projects, preparation of financial reports made for the European Commission, managing international project personnel, and so on. In this slide, you can see the members of the promotion unit. It is divided into three areas: health, biology, and earth science, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and humanities, social, and legal science. Another part for our office is covered by the promotion activities and data protection. All of them have their own responsibles, as you can see here, with whom you can contact. As the same way, the management unit counts with 4 colleagues that manage Marie Curie and ERCC programs, projects in consortium, and administrative tasks. Well, in the particular case of postdoctoral fellowship, the first thing we do from the office is to dedicate almost one day for a workshop to inform each year the UGR researchers and future fellows about this kind of fellowship, and thus contact those interested in apply as supervisor and those in apply as candidates of future fellows. This year took place in March. After that, each interested in being a supervisor send us an expression of interest for each line of research they offer, and we upload them to the ERCC web. On the other hand, the candidates can know possible supervisors via our website and following our internal rules, and start working on preparing their proposals with the advice from the office, even with face-to-face meeting, now via Google Meet for the situations. And finally, the office also usually to give a writing workshop every year for all interested candidates. I think that perhaps we arrange this workshop in almost 2 weeks. So through our website, I give you the link here. You can see all our expression of interest by departments. When you click on the one that interests you, the page redirects you to the ERCC webs, where you can see all the details. For example, brief description of the institution, brief description of the center or research group, project description with which you must work, present your proposal. Oh, sorry. Research area and the contact information to which you must send your CV and your letter of recommendation if you want for a correct evaluation in the UGR of your candidature to be selected and can prepare the proposal with the UGR as a host institution. In this slide, you can see the total numbers of affairs by areas at the UGR for 2021 call, this year call, with a total amount of 143. And here you can see that of all the funded projects where the most success has been achieved at the UGR in Horizon 2020 has been in the Marie Skłodowska-Curie scholarships. And in these graphs show that even though a very considerable increase in Marie Curie proposals in Horizon 2020, up to 85 submitted and reviewed last year at the UGR, the success rate has been maintained in around average of 11%. So it means that we maintain this success rate above the average, and that not matter how many more we have to review. We serve all of them, and the success rate does not drop. So take this into account, and once you have been selected by the UGR, you must send, as you can see here in our website, a letter of commitment signed by you and your supervisor, and you will be directed to the technician in charge of your area, who will help you to prepare the proposal and solve all your doubts. As I mentioned it before, the office offers you support and advice for the preparation of your proposal in order to increase your chance of obtaining the postdoctoral fellowship. In this way, a schedule for drafts deliveries has been established. In case you want us to review the first draft of your project, you should respect the delivery dates in order to have time to review the project properly. Moreover, as I mentioned it before, the OFP will hold a workshop in the next weeks on how to write a successful proposal, and you can find all the details and the exactly date, because by now we don't know the exactly date, with this link. And that's all. Please contact us if you have any doubt with the technician of the different areas at the promotion unit. And thanks for your attention. So now I'm not sure if you have enough time to do questions. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Christina from the University of Granada, for again giving a very, like the others, also a clear overview about the opportunities and also the support. I think that's really one of the great advantages to come to Europe is that you have a full support team of officers who are ready to guide you through the application process, of course, under the MSCA, but also national funding programs. We have stretched the time. We were supposed to end it by 5 o'clock Indian time. It's 1/4 past, but I think it was worth to go over time, because you can see, dear participants, what great opportunities are waiting for you in the countries which I've presented today. A lot of offers, a lot of ways to navigate through and find the right host institution and supervisor according to your background. So I would like to really thank all the speakers, and if you could kindly put on your cameras again. I think we don't have the time now for the question and answer sessions with you. I'm really sorry about that, but while you have been presenting, we have tried to answer as much as possible in the Q&A. And if someone has specific questions to the presenters, they can contact you, right? You will share your presentations with your email and contact ID. So there will be a possibility to write to our speakers directly. Now, let me say again, thank you to all of you, all the presenters for joining and also for your patience of, it's been a very long webinar, but as I said, it was really, truly worth it. And we will share the recordings and the presentations with all the participants. And let me say, we have now in the last 3 weeks provided you hosting offers of 11 countries in Europe out of the 45 potential. So you see there is a really big scope under this fellowship, and we really hope that many of you will apply and will go to Czechia, will go to France, will go to Portugal, will go to Spain. And we would be very happy if you can also let us know how your application went. And good luck to everyone. Thank you for joining. Wishing you a nice evening here in India and a nice lunch break in Europe. And we'll see each other soon again. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And big thanks to Christina
Bye.
Gomez, who also has been helping us with the Q&A. Thank you, Christina.
No problem at all. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.